Hey YouTube, what's up? Dr. T here from St. Petersburg, Florida. So here I'll be presenting the post-Falcon Heavy launch news conference, and now we come to the 8th question.
There is a gentleman who came from our Reddit community that I wanted to definitely call on, and I don't know your Reddit handle, and I don't want to say your name. So you can introduce yourself with your name or your handle.
Hi, Elon. My name is Martin Avignon, and I'm with Reddit's SPACEX community. I'd like to congratulate you as well, as so many people have done just now. I'd like to know about Starman's spacesuit. Is it a production model? Is it instrumented and or pressurized? And what's holding him up?
Well, there's a mannequin inside. So it's just basically stuffed. But yeah, that is the actual production design. So the real one looks just like that. That in fact, that's one of the qualification articles. That's the real deal. Yeah, I figure if you're gonna go, it's dangerous. It's a dangerous trip. You want to look good, Man, it took us 3 years to design that spacesuit. It was real hard. It's easy to make a spacesuit that looks good, but doesn't work, or that works but doesn't look good. It's really difficult to make a spacesuit that looks good and works, and you have to make it a multi-part process, and it was surprisingly difficult, very difficult. Yeah.
How about Dave Musher from Business Insider? Right there.
Hi, Dave Mosher from Business Insider. Thank you so much for doing this, by the way. I want to go back to BFR for a second, since you were talking about that, and also Starman, which is such an inspirational thing that's happening. Have you given any thought to what you might do with BFR in that way? What is the payload, and any thoughts to that?
No idea. Suggestions are welcome. It's a beast. So, the VFR 9-meter diameter, 30 feet roughly diameter, which is, you can fit a lot in 30 feet diameter. 110, 120 meters long. Yeah. Big. Although, I bet it doesn't look that big after a while. All right, maybe a couple more. Yeah, sure, one more. Yeah,
sure. How about Tim Fernholz from Quartz on the back of the white shirt?
Hi, Elon. Thanks again for doing this. 2 questions for you. One, just about fairing recovery. Just curious how SpaceX is coming with that. And 2, Jeff Bezos just responded to your tweet congratulating you on your launch today. You just mentioned a minute ago that we need a new space race. I'm just curious if you see yourself in a race with Blue Origin.
What was the first part of the question?
Checking in on fairing recovery.
Yeah. Fairing recovery has proven surprisingly difficult. I'm pretty sure we'll solve fairing recovery in the next 6 months. But it turns out, like, you pop the parachute in the fairing, you've got this giant awkward thing. It tends to interfere with the airflow on the parachute, and gets all twisty, and obviously it was a low priority too. Also, we have fairing version 2, which is that's the important one that we want to recover. So even if we recovered fairing version 1, we wouldn't be reflying it in the future. So fairing 2 and recovery, that's very important. And my guess is next 6 months we figure out fairing recovery. And we've got a special boat to catch the fairing. It's like a catcher's mitt. It's like a giant catcher's mitt in boat form. It's going to run around and catch the fairing, actually. It's kind of fun. I think we might be able to do the same thing with Dragon. So if NASA wants us to, we can try to catch Dragon. Literally, it's just meant for the fairing, but it would work on Dragon too.
In the room, how about James Dean from Florida Today?
Thanks so much, Elon. James in Florida Today. Speaking of those Dragons, could you give us a status on commercial crew and when we might realistically see an astronaut just getting to low Earth orbit, much less the Moon or Mars?
Yeah, we're making great progress on Crew Dragon, or Dragon version 2. That's, yeah. Actually, in terms of company priorities, obviously mission assurance is always number one as a priority, but then the priority used to be Falcon 9 Block 5, and then a month ago I said absolute priority is Crew Dragon. So we're pretty much done with Falcon 9 Block 5 or version 5. Pretty much almost done with Falcon Heavy. There's a few tweaks that would occur with Falcon Heavy Block 5, but they're minor. And so it's all hands on deck for Crew Dragon. And our goal is we're aspiring to fly Crew to orbit at the end of this year. That's our goal. I think the hardware will be ready.
We have time for one more question in the room.
And I was just looking at Falcon 9. It's like, yeah, kind of small.
So we're going to have to wrap it, and I'd like for Chris Gephardt, please, to have the last question.
Question in terms of the next Falcon Heavy, which is that Arabsat or the one for the Air Force. Do you have any idea of how Pad A held up from today's launch, and how quickly can it be changed?
Pad looks good. Pad's in good shape. Yeah.
So then I guess my questions are, how quickly can the pad be reconfigured between Heavy and Falcon 9, since you need that pad for both?
Oh, real fast. It's no problem. Okay. Going back and forth. It's designed that way.
And for the Block 5 version of the Falcon 9 or Falcon Heavy, does the Falcon Heavy need a dedicated core built for it, or the Block? It does. Okay.
It does. The center core needs to be dedicated. Yeah, so the center core is a special build. The side boosters we can reuse existing Falcon 9s, but we need to just replace the interstage with a nose cone, and it needs to use the upgraded titanium grid fins, which are sweet. Those worked out real well. I'm really happy about those. In fact, I'm glad we got the side boosters back, because they had the titanium grid fins and the center core didn't. So if I was to pick anyone, I would have picked the side boosters. I'd pick the center core to explode. So that would be like the least. Yeah. Those freaking grid fins they're super expensive and awesome, but the production rate on them is slow. We need them back. That was the most important thing to recover, were those grid fins.
Are there sensors inside the spacesuit testing its ability to function? Nope, it's just up there?
Yeah, no, it definitely works though. You can just jump in a vacuum chamber with it and it's fine.
Elon, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so very much.